writing it when you wake up. Paul said it's already written. It's already orchestrated. It's already arranged. When God woke you up this morning, God had already documented how he's going to intervene in your life today. You might not know what God is doing. How many know God already knows? You might not understand what's happening around you. How many know God is already involved in it? Paul says it's already written. What God is going to do for you today was written while you were in your yesterday. I wish I had a witness. How God is going to bring you through today was already written while you were still in your yesterday. Your today was already blessed while you were still in yesterday. How many know you don't have to wait till midnight changes to 1 o'clock to see what God is doing? God has already worked it out. God doesn't wake you up and let's see what's going to happen. God wakes you up and says, come see what I'm doing. Come see what I have in store for you. Come see how I'm already handling your problem. God wakes you up and says, come on, I got something for you. Get up, quit messing around, quit dragging around, brush your teeth, wash yourself, and let's go, because the wheels of your blessing are already in motion. The wheels of your prosperity and your healing and your breakthrough and the miracle that you need in your life are already in motion. So when God shakes you and wakes you up, God is saying, come on and see what I've already done for you in today, because I started it while you were still wondering yesterday what was going to happen today. That's why the old folks said, we've been made endure for a night, but how many of you know joy as a way of showing up in the morning? God wakes you up, he's already set your day for you. He already knows how your day is going to go. If there's going to be a surprise, how many know God will not be surprised? If there's going to be a tragedy, God has already started preparing you for how to get through it. If there's going to be a situation, God has already handled it. God is already involved in your tomorrow while you're still in your today. So every day that God wakes you up is a good day. Every day that God wakes you up is a day of thanksgiving, because you serve a God who has already reached into your today while you were in your yesterday and set you up for success before you even woke up this morning. I wish I had a witness. Haven't you ever wondered how you got out of some of the stuff that you got yourself into? Haven't you ever wondered why some of the things that depressed you yesterday don't seem to bother you today? Haven't you ever wondered why one day you worried and the next day you got an answer? Have you ever wondered why jobs and opportunities that told you no yesterday called you today and said, are you still interested? God has already reached into your tomorrow and orchestrated the steps of your life. He's already orchestrated your breakthrough. He's already orchestrated your deliverance. He's already orchestrated your future. He's already shut down what the devil had planned for you and created a pathway for your miracle. God has already set you up for success. God has tomorrow in his hands. God don't want you wilding and wondering about what tomorrow is going to bring. Every day you wake up is a good day. God has already worked it out. God has it in control. He has it under wraps. He has it in the palm of his hands. His mercy is new every morning. That's why you all say thank you, Lord, when you wake up. His grace is sufficient. His truth endures to all generations. When you wake up, he's already your healer. He's already your deliverer. He's already your peace. You ought to say, thank you, Lord, because you're already my joy. It's a good day because you woke me up this morning. You didn't have to do it, but you did. So I say, thank you, Lord, because you already reached into my today while I was still in my yesterday. You worked it out. Paul said, as it is written, past tense. Then he went on to say, church, I have not seen, neither ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for them that love him. In other words, Paul, in this text, Minister Sean, is really putting us in our place. He's saying, your eyes have not seen, your ears have not heard, and your heart has not conceived what God is about to do. Don't you just love when God puts you in check? You just love when God reminds you that he's God and you are not. Has anybody ever been there? God is putting us in check this morning. God is reminding us that God never said we would always know what he's doing. That's my second point this morning. God never promised you you always know what he's doing. He said, I have not seen you. I'm going to keep saying it. Ear has not heard, neither has entered into your heart what God is doing. Shiloh, this text blessed me because it reminded me that we have gotten a little too comfortable in our contemporary religious posture. Because we live in an information age. We live in an age where we can Google everything. Somehow we feel like we ought to be able to Google God. Somehow we ought to be able to get a revelation of God's activities from a TikTok video. Somehow God needs to start putting his intentions on Facebook so we can have a social media debate and decide if God really knows what he's doing. How many know in our society as a whole, we've gotten to a place where we feel like we can predict all of the actions and the interactions of God. When you watch the news, they are predicting what the weather is going to be like 6 months from now. When you listen to our epidemiologists now, they're talking about how this pandemic is going to look 2 or 3 months from now. You listen to the economists, they're predicting how the economic conditions of our global enterprise are going to look a year from now. Church, I'm always amazed at how God responds to man's predictions. I'm amazed how God will stir up weather conditions that will baffle the forecasters and make them admit that they didn't see this coming. I'm amazed at how God will allow a new variant to crop up that the epidemiologists didn't see coming. How many know every now and then God will allow an economic shift that the economists didn't see coming? And when God gets done being God, man has to regroup and start over trying to figure out what's going to happen. How many know you can't predict God? You can't put God in a box where you can tell God what he's got to do this day and how he's got to act that way. God is God. It's amazing that we have this tendency to feel like God needs to check in with us before he does anything. We have this false perception of our importance when it comes to the sovereign will of God. We tend to forget sometimes that God has been God a long time. We tend to forget that God didn't get our permission when he created the universe. God didn't get our permission when he put the stars in place and set the cosmic functions of the universe in order. I wish I had a witness. God didn't get our permission on what an animal should look like or how tall a tree should grow. God is God, and he doesn't have to check in with us on being God, because God doesn't have to get anybody's permission to do anything. And Paul reminds us of that in this text. He said, you haven't seen it. You haven't perceived it. You haven't heard it. You don't know. Because God does not have to let you know what he's about to do. You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't perceive it, but you do know this. God has something prepared. He said, I have not seen, ear have not heard, neither into the heart of man the things which God has prepared. There's that past tense language again. God has a plan. We just don't know what it is. How many of you know the wisdom of God is what makes God a mystery? His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. His understanding is not our understanding. His methodologies are not our methodologies. God don't think. Tell him I am sent you. God told Joshua, before you even get there, every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, I've already given it to you. God told the Shunammite woman, you ain't pregnant now, but this time next year, you shall have a child. God told David, you won't see it, but you will always have a descendant sitting on the throne of Israel. God is always doing something that's going to work out for our good. We might not be able to see it. We might not hear it. We might not can conceive it. But church, God is doing something good for us. That's why we know God will show up in the storms of life. How many know God will show up through your midnight of discouragement? God will show up when friends turn their back on you. God will show up when you feel like giving up. God will show up when it looks like you ain't gonna make it. God will show up through the winds of adversity. God will show up through the difficult times. Anybody ever had some difficult times, but you still made it? That's because God showed up. I stopped by to tell you, God will show up through the lonely times. God will show up through the frustrations of life. God will show up through aggravation. God will show up through exasperation. God will show up through provocation. God will show up through irritation. God will show up through disappointment. God will show up through disenchantment. God will show up through your weary days. How many of you have ever had some weary days? It seems like it lasted forever. Seems like trouble wasn't going to ever end. Seems like your problem wasn't going to ever come to an end. You got weary in the midst of it. You said, precious Lord, take my hand and lead me on and let me stand because I'm tired. I'm weak. And how many of you ever been to a place in your life where you were tired of being tired? I wish I had a witness in this place. But how many know God will show up in your weary days? God will show up in your sleepless nights. God will rock you in the midnight hour and let you know that everything is going to work out all right. He didn't tell you how he's going to do it. He didn't tell you what he's going to do. He didn't check in with you, but you know that God is good with you. You're going to come out as pure gold as your God never said he would always let us know what he's doing. How many know he'll show up? He'll fix it. Old folks say, be not dismayed with every time. God will take care of you. Paul said, I got to tell you one more time, he said, I have not seen, neither ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, things which God has prepared for them. Watch this.